exactly.
Really missed out on time.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Oh, God. That's so... Yeah, general malaise.
I know. It's sunny here. What's it like in London?
It's quite pleasant, actually.
Yeah.
There's a few fluffy whites about. So.
It's I went and did some parcel. I normally do parcel drop off. I have to drop parcels off because it's too much. It's much cheaper. It's much easier for me to just take the parcels to somewhere and drop them off. And I use Yodel. The only place in Frome that will take Yodel parcels is literally right at the other side of town. It's almost on the outskirts of town. So I got the motorbike out and went over this morning, which was quite fun. Hi, Rob.
Hey up.
Aye.
How's me whippet?
How's the whippet?
Yeah.
Oh, this is going to put me right out of whack because I'm thinking it's like 7 or 8 o'clock at night now. You see?
There you go. You see.
Yeah, it's bright for 7 or 8 o'clock at night.
Yeah, let me turn his lights out. I look a bit pale.
Where's Patty Matty?
I have no idea.
We're supposed to be hearing him playing his
Oh yeah.
49.
Is that better?
Aye.
Yeah.
Look like you painted your door white now.
I do, don't I? Yeah. It's just, you can't see the bricks.
Yeah.
Oh,
he's the same.
look what I got on Blu-ray today. Look at that. What?
All right. It's a great film, actually.
It's brilliant, isn't it?
Kathy Tyson. I mean, do you know?
No, that was Mona Lisa.
Oh, right, yeah.
This is Helen Mirren.
I need to get them the right way around because
It's easy to get those two mixed up because they were sort of close together and sort of.
Nah, it was Mona Lisa. That because what I was going to say was that we had this old banger of a car. This is way before the kids came along. We had this old banger of a car, and we were up in the Lake District for a wedding, and halfway to Cumbria, the gearbox basically went, and I managed to get it to where were we staying? Windermere. We stayed at Windermere. I managed to get it to Windermere by basically having first gear and I think third gear. And I was having double declutch and all sorts of weird things to get gears.
That's all you need.
And there's hills in bloody Cumbria. So the guy said to us, he said, well, we took into this garage. He says, are you part of RAC or anything? I went, no. He said, well, look, if you join now, so I shouldn't tell you this, if you join now, I can then take it back to wherever you want it to go to. Because we hadn't had it that long, and we bought it for somewhere in Northallerton. It'll have to be Tuesday morning. So, but you stay now. So stay an extra night if you can. And so we thought, what we're going to do on this Monday night we went to this really smashing little cinema, and the only film that was on was Mona Lisa, and we'd never seen it, and it was like, wow, this is fantastic. And it's probably gone now, but really small, independent little cinema. There's only probably about 30 seats. It was just absolutely lovely, you know.
Nice. No, this I've been buying Blu-rays from this company for a little while now. They're Arrow Video, but they do a lot of these kind of not maybe cult. They do a lot of cult movies. They'll do a lot of Japanese stuff, but they do them all in 4K.
Oh yeah.
So they do proper restoration on them, and then you can choose from the original audio. Like this is in mono because this was 70. What was this?
Oh God, Ken's broke his glasses.
Oh jeez, again.
The glue's given out.
Oh, sellotape.
Carvera.
I still can't get this eye appointment until middle of
July,
June.
Isn't it? No, June.
Was it July?
No,
there is something in July as well that would have thought
Charlie.
would be. No, that's middle of June as well.
All right.
But there is something in middle of July that we asked about at the beginning of May, and I went, no appointments.
Jeez.
Oh, arse monkey.
Oh, I'm just uploading the Super Booth walkabout video for our Patreon subscribers, so that's a 25 gigabyte video. I'm surprised that Patreon actually allowed me to upload it, but their only restriction is the duration. As long
So
as
it's not
than
to
12 hours.
YouTube. It's just to Patreon.
At the moment, yeah. I just thought, look, we've got exclusive. We might as well do something.
Yeah.
Oh, Man United have just gone 1-0 up.
Who?
They'll be
I thought,
tearing the
if I
balls
do it
down
for,
in
like-
Surrey.
If I do it like for a week, maybe as an exclusive, and then next weekend I'll just put it out on the YouTubes for everyone. But it just it gives you gives our Patreoners or what do they call it? Is it Patreoners, Patreoneers, Patreons?
Patreons. It's just Patreons.
Yeah.
Mm.
Or if you're Andrew, Patreons
Yeah.
Not
well,
patrons.
but he's lucky to speak
or
English. that lad.
patrons. Yeah.
You've got to be patrons. But, anyway.
So our Patreons will get an exclusive. I mean, it's just me walking around with a camera. There's no talking. There's just audio of as I get close to the synthesizers. But it's high quality audio and it's high quality
That's right.
video, 4K.
Don't Patreon the company spell it wrong? Don't they spell it? Is it?
It's Patreon, which is Patreon.
All right.
But they're
I thought
patrons, aren't they?
Yeah, I thought the spelling was weird, but then again, I'm dyslexic, so what do I know?
Anyway, those people what give us money every month.
Yeah.
That was let's give us.
And well done for Jordan Rudess. That sounds interesting.
Yeah. Well,
I won't be around again
yeah,
because next weekend is eldest child's wedding.
right.
So I'll
Can
be
we put
back.
it off?
I know. Well, exactly. I could, couldn't I? Yeah. So I'll be back in that there at London from Thursday. But
Thank God for catch up.
Yeah, I'll watch it on catch up
Well, we got to give a massive shout out to Michelle.
for
As
sorting that. Yeah.
always, she's the one that contacted me and said, "Would you like me to try and get Jordan?" I'm like, she says, "I think we can do it." So yeah, there we go.
Unfortunately, she meant the river.
Yeah,
Right,
King
I'm going
Jordan.
to find some glue. I'll be back in a moment.
go on then.
Super glue, mate. Araldite. Get some Araldite on them.
Araldite, yeah, mix that shit up.
Yeah. I've got quite a few things that need repairing. Small things like a clock and 2 clocks actually. Things that got damaged in transit.
Yeah, always something.
So, yeah, but
Always.
generally, because when we signed up with this company, the insurance was stupid money. I mean, it was. I think it was over $1,000 for just insurance, and then there was a massive list of exclusions, like things they wouldn't cover if it got broken.
Yeah,
And we looked at it, the boys looked at it, and we all went, "This isn't worth it because if they do that much damage, then
yeah.
I mean, our belongings are worth probably $50,000, but they're not going to do, unless they lose everything, we're not going to, So
No.
we didn't do the insurance. So there was nothing to worry about, and the way it's worked out, it's it is small stuff. Chip off a clock on one corner, the back of I need to solder the thing on the clock that my grandmother bought me as a wedding present. I could actually probably replace the whole. It's a battery clock, but
Right.
I could replace the whole mechanism if it comes to it. A couple of other little things really, but nothing. Oh, fridge magnets. We got 3 broken fridge magnets. Now we have a collection of fridge magnets.
Oh, okay.
We have a massive, great big whiteboard, magnetic whiteboard,
Just for
which
your
is just
fridge,
full of fridge magnets. So whenever any of us go anywhere, boys have been doing it for a long time as well. They bring us a fridge magnet.
mate.
And now we've got a fridge where our fridge is. We've got 3 sides instead of 1 side. There's even more space for more fridge magnets.
Oh, dear. Hang on. My daughter is just encountering the pleasures of buying a new Apple. She's for the first time she's bought her own phone and got her own contract. So that saves me a few quid. But of course, iPhones now do not come with a plug for your charger.
No,
they just come with a USB cable. And
that's really annoying.
USB-C, and the connector on the iPhone is USB-C. And she lives in a world where USB-C doesn't
exist. Yeah.
So, and I'm just thinking, I don't have a USB-C plug.
Don't you have one for that? You've got an iPad, haven't you?
No, the missus has got an iPad, but hers is
old school.
Yeah, and the iPad charger is a little too hot for the iPhone. You can use an iPhone.
Is it?
Yeah, because it's too.
I do it. I do that with. Because
it used to be. It might have changed, but it used to be that you shouldn't charge an iPhone with an iPad, but you can charge an iPad with an iPhone charger. But anyway,
because we bought. You give us that tip about buying from Hoxton Mac, and we bought Jane a new iPad, and that came with a USB-C charger.
Okay. They've probably changed it now, maybe universal.
It's lightning to USB, which is great.
Let me just go and see if she's sorted. I'll be back in a sec.
You find a glue?
Aye. That's better.
You've done it.
Work on £150,000 synthesizers, have to glue me glasses together. Never mind. Such is the way of things.
Yeah, certainly is. There was one day I was out and about, again on the motorbike, and I managed to break 2 pairs of glasses.
Yeah.
Stopped somewhere, rang Jane, bought something. I'm stood at the side of the road, and this went, brought me glasses. So put the spare pair on, got home, broke them as well.
Yeah.
And Neil says they negotiated, my new Facebook friend Neil, they negotiated the charging rate so that you can use a large capacity charger with no issues. I'm going to say, because I've been using the iPad chargers on mine and Jane's iPhone.
Yeah.
And with no issue.
Yeah, so it's Fiona.
I didn't know there was an issue. But thanks for that, Neil. So it's starting to look like a proper studio now.
It's getting there, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, there's no MIDI or WIDI. We'll look at WIDI in a few weeks time, I think, really. But the only thing that's wired for MIDI is the Model D, because obviously it needs a keyboard. So I wired that to the sledge.
Yeah.
And just to test it to make sure it actually worked. But apart from that, I've got a couple of shelves to put up, probably there. Whiteboard over there. That'll be it, I think. So.
Yeah.
So, Waggo is still baffled by why Ian downsized house size. I had no choice. It's much more expensive to live in the south than it is in the north. And actually, to be fair, we should be downsizing. We had too much stuff. Too many bathrooms, too many utility rooms.
Yeah.
We were always going to have to buy a slightly smaller house here. And the first house we looked at that we really, really wanted, in the end we couldn't afford it, but it was a lot smaller than this house. But it was lovely,
Well, it's like this place, it's only 19 feet across, for Christ's sake, and it's over $500,000.
Yeah. Because our house is
in the middle of your street.
No, it's at the end of the street. No, it's at the end of a block. It's actually.
I'm ruining that song.
Yeah. I was thinking compared to your house, how big is ours? It's about the similar sort of size. Because you've got 3 bedrooms.
Mm-hmm. Well, 2 bedrooms and something that resembles a cupboard that you can get.
That's exactly the same. We've got 2 decent-sized bedrooms. You can get a double bed in both of them.
Yeah.
And then the half a bedroom, which is what Jane's having as her room. Interestingly enough, we've got all Jane's stuff in there now, and we looked this morning, and we've got, because we thought nobody wants to come and see us, but actually we've got loads of people already coming to see us. Like Jane's dad's coming, and so we're going to put one in one room, boys downstairs, and Jane's sister in Jane's room on the Z bed, and it will. There's no room round the Z bed, but you'll be able to get a Z bed in there. So she'll have to crawl to get in, but
yeah.
So we can put people up.
So how much have you got wired up in there now?
All of it.
Oh, it's all wired now, is it?
All wired.
Get in.
Well,
I was
Yeah.
on eBay yesterday and I came across
how much
a
did you get for yourself?
Korg 700.
Go on
I
then.
thought, that looks nice. It's only $599.
It's mine.
I know. That's what I just. Oh,
I dropped the
know
price.
that.
I
know
could really
that.
do to shift it. I've had some stupid offers, and I won't really go below $550.
No.
No.
And there was another one. It might have already gone. There was another one which was about the same sort of price. I'll be honest. It looked in better condition than mine. Didn't have the mod. So that's why I pitched mine where it was. Really.
Yeah, it was.
You still want it, Rob?
I do, but I just don't have that money spare at the moment.
You can pay me
when I
monthly.
When I get to the end of the tax year, I might have, or my accounting year, I might have something. But
I mean, I've had quite a few offers, but literally the offer. I mean, I won't let it go for 400.
No,
and that's the highest that somebody's offered me for it.
Yeah. Well, I'll play the waiting game and keep fingers crossed. But
yeah, I mean, it was a lot higher when because I left it in Yorkshire because I didn't want it to go into storage. So I left it with a mate in Yorkshire, and I put the price up because he's going to have to send it to somebody, and I was going to slip him £100 to for all of that if it got sold, and give him a commission really. As he didn't go, so that was fine. So I went and picked it up. So it's currently sat. I was going to say, it's not in the garage. I won't leave it in the garage. It is sat in our kitchen, actually, underneath the dining table.
so the one you've got there is the new one. At the top
That's the
there.
new one, yeah.
Yeah.
Which I haven't. I unboxed it when it arrived to make sure it was still working when it came from Korg. I then instantly boxed it back up, put it into storage, and I've got it out. And I've not even done. I mean, I played with the prototype quite a bit, and it didn't have the software stuff at that time. But I haven't done anything with it yet. It's even got factory presets, which won't stay for very long.
Did you get back from Matey Boy about the polybrute?
Yes.
Yeah, and
Yeah. It's definitely a bug. Yeah.
it is a bug. Yeah, it makes sense. You
But
turned it down,
it's
still doing it.
But it's a bug. So we know what it is, and it's fixable. We
Right.
think, but it's also a little bug, also on the old one as well. Because what I didn't realise is the firmware works on both.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, because. But we managed to make the old one do the thing that we found the new one does. And it's such a tiny little thing, but it's a thing. So it has been logged and reported and a ticket raised and all that kind of stuff. And
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Well, I mean, a
Some
bug is
clever
one thing,
fart.
it'd be better than a hardware fault.
Oh gosh, no, it's not hardware.
Thank God for
So
that.
yeah, but it's easy. You can work around it just by just dialing it back a little bit. It's all cool. It's all cool.
I dismantled the robot hoover this morning.
Oh god, yeah.
Took it all apart, wheels and motors.
Did you build
all over the
another
place.
Charlie?
Pile of hair like that.
Charlie. Yeah.
Big pile of hair like that.
Charlie's
All
like,
stuck it around the motors and then caught up inside the wheels and stuff. It's a little bastard.
Oh my word.
So,
Can you not sell it?
I don't know.
Yeah, can you just bag it up and sell it to wig makers?
Quilts with.
Yeah.
There must be huskies, who are
Husky-
in desperate
husky-
need of wigs.
Yeah. Husky
Husky
wig.
toupees.
Yeah.
But he was coming over and going, "What are you doing all my hair?" Mate, you're the one left it in the Uber. Go, what are you, a Tibetan bloody Mastiff or something? Have you seen those things? He falls into the category of a Tibetan Mastiff. Jesus. So much hair. But I mean, the robot Hoover came out about 2 hours ago, did the front room. I've just gone down there. There's big lumps of Charlie hair all over the place.
Oh, brilliant. We drove past the place yesterday, and it had a big sign saying robot lawnmower, right, on the side of this hill. And obviously that was where the factory was, right? And they had, best advert ever, they had one of their robots just cutting the lawn.
Nice.
The hill, the side of the hill. It was absolutely brilliant. You couldn't have asked for a better advert for this robot lawnmower.
Got my landlord coming over. Oh, he's doing my head in now. You heard during the show last night, my doorbell went a couple of
Was that
times.
him?
Mm-hmm.
That was him. Because he said that he was going to come round on Friday and just have a look at what needed, because we're having a new patio fitted, because when we moved in it got decking, but the decking was original, so it has to be at least sort of 15 years old or something, and
Signs of wear.
signs of deterioration, the
Rot.
lot. I mean, it's slippy in the wet.
Yeah.
It's kind of got that sheen
algae,
to it.
algae,
Yeah.
Oh, right.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
got all of that. Little bits are breaking off, and it's a bit spongy in places. And we
Not been
pointed
looked
it out.
after.
Yeah, and we pointed it out, and we said, look, it is a bit dangerous, especially after it's been wet. If you're going to hang the washing out, it's a little bit treacherous. And he said, oh, no, we'll get that sorted. He said, I'm going to have a proper patio fitted, proper stone thing done, if that's all right with you. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to say no to that. So he put some rubber mats, these grippy mat things down, so we could still sort of go out there and use it, and it would be fine. And then a month or so ago, he says, right, we're going to do this now, and now we're getting into the spring months. He said, I've got some people coming around, give you a quote, or give us a quote. So if you wouldn't mind just letting them in and have a look around. So yeah, fine. So we had these 3 people come around. They all did the whole thing. They came back and went back to him, and he took one of them up. And then he said, he talked about having the materials delivered. And I thought, well, don't they do everything? Don't that's what you pay a contractor for. You tell them what you want. They get the materials. They do all. Oh, no, I'm going to buy the materials. Okay, fine. So he came round another night with samples of all these different surfaces. So we agreed on one. And he said, yeah, we'll have those delivered. And I said, okay, well, let me know, because I can, we can stick them on, because the drive goes down the side of the house, and it's like a shared driveway, so there's space for two cars width, one with next door. And I said, let us know, and we'll move the cars and do whatever. And then he said, no, I'm having them delivered to my place, which is about, I don't know, 5-10 miles away. And he said, I'm going to have them delivered to my place, and then I'll bring them over. So he brought them over the weekend before I went to Superbooth. Him, his elderly mother and elderly father, with a little flatbed trailer, and they had to do about 4 or 5 journeys to move all of this stone, because it's proper stone. It's it's good 1.5 inches thick, and then there's these big slabs, and there's little slabs, and then there's bricks. And then we're just like, I was like, why didn't you just have it delivered here? I don't understand. And then he said, I'll come over Friday night just to see what I need to do, because I'm going to rip the old one up. I'm like, what are you paying the contractor for?
It sounds like a backhand job. So he's only paying him just to lay it.
Just to lay it, yeah.
So he's doing everything else.
So he came round last night, and apparently Jackie said he came round. I unlocked the gate for him. He came round the back. He sort of went. She said, I was watching him. He was in the garden. He was going. Did that for about 1.5 minutes, talking to himself. Then came back round again, gave us the plans, and said, "Can you give these to the contractor when they turn up? But I'll be back on Sunday to rip the old decking up." And we're like, well, it's bank holiday weekend. I mean, not like we were going to go and sit out there because it's not really fit to be, to have a thing on. But, we might be in and out doing stuff. We might want to prance around the living room naked for a few hours. You never know. But he's coming around on flipping Sunday. Again, yeah. He's coming around on Sunday to rip the old one up, which will be chaos. Don't know how he's going to take it away. And then we've got to expect the other people, I think, next week sometime. We haven't even got a firm date for it. But at least we'll be in before the summer. And then we can set the furniture up and have a Barbie. And all that.
Yeah, because when we came around this house, Jane's first response to it's a small garden, which is fine. There's a bit obviously behind where the studio is, but it's at the front and he can't sit on it because it's on a hill basically, but it's grass. But round the back it's quite nice. There's a bit of a patio, which at some point I would probably replace, like, it's like plastic blocks. And I would want to put something like, I know there's a manhole cover under there somewhere, but I'd want to put some stone down or something else, maybe even wood decking. I'm not hugely fond of wood decking because, like you say, after a while, it gets slippy and gets rotten and all the rest of it.
That's it.
But stone would be better. But Jane, we came round. Jane wasn't keen on the house anyway at that time, and she went, "There'll be no sun in this garden." And we get sun every day. I mean, she's out there now, sat with a cup of tea, around mid-afternoon. So, and it sort of comes round, so it's top corner in the morning and it works round, and it just about gets to here, And we're not even summer yet, really, are we? We're another month away, really. So, but no, it's quite, and we think we're going to be sitting out a lot more, which we didn't do in our old house. Because it literally, it was the top corner at the end of the day which got the sun, and by that time it's tea time and you're inside.
That's it. Like our last place, it was south facing, so we'd get a lot of sun, but the corner where we put the furniture and the table and stuff always got it towards the latter half of the day, so it was a proper little sun trap. But this place, the sun comes over sort of like that way, and so we only get a bit of it, and that's another reason why the decking is so bad, because when it gets wet,
it's always under the shade.
Doesn't get any chance to dry out. So this is why the stone will be a lot nicer. But I do like. It
sounds slightly dodgy that he didn't get, get it delivered, and unless he's bought the stone off the back of a lorry, maybe.
No, apparently he went to a merchant because he came over.
Oh, right, he's got the bill.
With catalogues and samples, and proper cut sample. Those little square, 3x3 square things. And then the contractors that we had come round, are all they all had signed vans and everything. It all seemed pretty legit. I mean, bottom line is it's his responsibility.
Yeah.
As long as it's a decent job, and if it isn't, he'll have to come and do it again. But no, and the other benefit or bonus is that he said he's going to actually extend. So we've got the back of the house, and the kitchen back door leads onto the patio at like a 90-degree angle, so you can just walk straight on. And then the patio sort of goes across the back of the living room, so where you've got the French doors. And then next door's garage goes down the side, so he's actually going to extend the whole thing, so that we've got an area where we've got stone floor and a garage wall that we can then sort of lean things up against. So it'll be nice. You could probably put the Barbie there because it's nothing to catch fire. So it'll be nice. But I mustn't grumble because he's doing it and he's not putting our rent up or anything yet. Well, we're over a year now. We're into a rolling contract, so.
I mean, rolling contracts are fine if you've got a decent landlord. And we had a rolling contracts with the shop, and David was very fair with us. I mean, the rent never went up, and I do know that although we'd sold it, he halved the rent for the guy who bought the business off us when the pandemic hit, And he didn't have to do that. It wasn't that he was going to ask for it back. He just literally halved it, which, you know, because he had the right approach. You know, I'd rather him stay in business, but, you know.
Yeah.
And he should have stayed in business because that wasn't, you know, he chose to close it, it wasn't forced to close it.
Oh,
But I suppose, you know, like good landlords are few and far between, really, aren't they?
This is true. This is true. Now this guy's absolutely fine. He falls over himself to get things sorted. Sometimes, it's a bit too nice, you know. But he's just an odd little chap, you know. Just in a not in a nasty way. He's just odd, you know. Bless him. Mustn't grumble because the last ones were wankers. So.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a shame about Ranzee.
Yeah, poor lad. He's not well. I don't know what's wrong with him, but he sent me a message. Sent us all a message saying he's just not feeling well enough. You know.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough. You got your windows open, Ken? Sounds like you got
No,
off.
it's not me.
It's me.
Oh, it's you.
I've got the window up here open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just saying, it sounds a bit.
Well, we got the house cheap because it's on a traffic island in the middle of the road.
Well, actually,
Jane's not actually sitting out the back. She's signalling traffic.
She is, no. The first house we were going to buy, I was very concerned because the road was incredibly busy.
Yeah.
There's a bit. Actually, the college is at the end of our road here, but actually this road's not so bad really. So, but we're on a bus route to Bath, so you'll hear the bus go up and down.
That's a name for an album, isn't it? Bus route to Bath.
But it is. It'll be. I'll file that, and then I'll credit you, Rob. You're all right. And so where this house was, there was 2 schools up there, which are not near here, but that was the main route in. So you had 2 schools and a college, and that was the quickest way to get there. So literally, first thing in the morning, and at sort of 3 o'clock until 5, it was a traffic jam outside that house. You know, and I was really quite concerned, just that much traffic, really. I mean, yes, this road here can be a bit busy at times, but it's nothing like that.
Yeah.
You know.
We're lucky we're not a through road here, but you get people because it's one of these housing estates, you know, these kind of modernish housing estates where there's not a lot of room for parking. There's no room for parking unless you've got your own driveway, and some houses have only got enough for like 1 car, and a lot of houses have 2 and they have visitors. So you get people parking all over the place, but what they do is they come up to this bit here just outside the house because the road splits into 2, so you've got a little bit that goes off there and a little bit goes off there, and it's a big turning point. Everyone's, they just drive up here, turn around and go back down again. And then you get lorries come. We had and somebody must have had a delivery from Next this morning, like 8 o'clock. This flipping great lorry came up here, and then it got up the top there, and then it realised it had to turn round. And it was, me, and then, caution, this vehicle is reversing, and they're trying to sort of wiggle their way around in between the cars that are parked because they haven't got any space. Yeah.
I mean, we've got, our garage actually isn't, it's only at the back of the house, but actually we can't access it from the garden, whereas everybody else on the block, there's only a small block of 5 houses, and our house and the one at the other end are the biggest houses. I think those are 2 bedrooms, and we've got a weird shaped roof, so you can actually stand up in our attic if it wasn't for the joists and stuff.
Right. Yeah.
But I have to walk round to the block to get to the garage, But the good thing about that is that I was always just going to use it as storage anyway.
Yeah.
But the footprint of our property is that the space outside of the garage is actually part of our property.
Right.
Whereas the other house we're looking at, and that's partly why we didn't buy it, although there was a lot of crap with the woman that we were buying it from. I asked the question, can I park outside the garage? Because there was a little small gate at the side, and I'm thinking somebody needs access to that. Oh no, I've had a dispute with the neighbour, and I'm thinking, but we were like 3 months down the road buying this bloody house at that point, so yes, it's a bit of a pain having to walk around all the time, but it's just storage,
Yeah.
And when we have so most of the time we're parking out just out front of the house, which everybody else does. Although everybody's got a garage, but not everybody's garage is on their property. So there's lots of garages around and lots of spaces, but not everybody parks the car in front of them.
No.
So we normally park out front, but actually when we've got guests, like when the boys came yesterday, stayed overnight, we went and I put the car around in front of the garage, and other people do the same sort of thing.
Yeah.
Really,
It's like when we've got space. Obviously, we've got a garage, but I don't think we could probably get a car in there. As in, even if it was empty, you couldn't get a car in. You couldn't get my car in there.
No, we could just about. Our car's a Yaris. We can get our Yaris in because it's quite small.
Yeah.
You wouldn't get anything bigger than that in.
No. So we parked both cars in front of the garage, and we've got enough driveway space to put 2 cars end to end. But then when my parents, my mum turns up, or Sophia's boyfriend turns up, they have to go and find somewhere else and you're always going to be causing some sort of blockage or some sort of obstruction. It's just the way it is. They build these things, and they're just I'm sure they think about it. They just don't do it. They just deliberately do not. Every bit of space has to be to squeeze another house in.
Yeah, exactly.
Not
Yeah.
There's a big green, so as you turn into our road, it splits like this, and then in the middle of it is this big green area with some trees lining it. And it's not like we're short of green space and places for kids to play.
Yeah.
And there have been kids playing there for a little while, especially during since the weather's got nice. But all you could still have a bit of green space there, but you could just carve out a good maybe 8 parking spaces worth of space, and then they would be off the road and not causing any obstruction. I mean, some of the cars that park down that end, you can see that they're long term because they've all got scuffs on the corners of their bumpers, where someone has come around and gone too tight and then scraped, or they've had to park it on the corner, and when the dustbin lorry comes round, that barely fits past, and so they've probably given it a bump there. I mean, I'd hate to have to park my car out the road. It'd be sort of forever.
Well, we've got lots of little green spaces all up and down the road. But what's really annoying, and I find this really annoying, is that every one of those little green spaces, Mendips Council have said no ball games.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, yes, there are a couple of places, but actually there aren't any places that kids can just go and play football. There are playgrounds. There's at least 2 in the area.
Yeah.
And we've got a big showground, which is not a million miles away, which I don't think they're allowed to play football on there either. Kids want to kick a ball about.
Yeah.
And I quite like the sound of listening to kids play.
Yeah.
With a football or.
Yeah, there's a place just across. So this area that we live in, there's a main road that sort of goes from the top just up here all the way down to the town centre, which is it's only, if you're driving, it's about a minute.
Yeah.
And so there's houses either side, and dotted around there are play areas where there's open space and maybe a slide and some swings or some sort of whirligig type thing. God, that made me sound old. Whirligig. Yeah. So it's not like there's shorter spaces, but it's that bit in the middle there. I kept thinking, all you need to do is just carve out a little bit, and there'd still be enough green space for the kids to do what they do at the moment, which is like put up an inflatable football goal. Mess around in there.
Yeah.
And you'd have the cars there, and they'd be off the road. It'd be a little bit easier. But
I mean, obviously, sometime in the past they've moved the bus stops. I mean, it is only the Bath bus that comes up and down. I think there might be a small little local, like it was minibus type things, but I haven't worked out where it's going. But it's the main Bath bus either comes from Bath and goes into the centre of town. Stupidly, doesn't go to the train station because none of the buses go to the train station. So you get a bus into town, which only takes 5-10 minutes. It's a 20-minute walk into centre of town.
Yeah.
And then another 10 minutes up to the railway station. So you can get a bus into town, but then you've still got to walk, up a big hill to get to the station. But when they moved the bus stops, they left the sort of cut out in the actual road, and they become parking spaces now, which is great actually. So you've got either side of the road, you can get 4 cars in, I think.
Yeah.
They're not near our house actually. There is one sort of over there, but which I have parked. In fact, when the guys came with the 2 great big trucks and all our belongings, they parked. They took up one of those, with their great big Arctic. So you can get an Arctic and a car in it. Because we'd put our car over there and they parked up there, pulled up behind us. Which is quite a sensible thing to do. You may as well leave those spaces and just let people, park them. Yeah. But the thing about Frome is, some of the streets are really quite small, and there's an awful lot of on-street parking, so that you end up not being able to. I mean, people have actually. I've worked out that most people are pretty cool about stopping, letting a few people through, and all that sort of business.
Yeah.
You do get the odd arsehole, obviously, who just, it's his right of way. He's usually riding a BMW or something like that, or a Mercedes, but yeah, so you get used. I'm getting used to the fact that, you have to sort of negotiate just to get through a really small, what's become a really small street.
Yeah. I need to take my motor out. It's been sat there for over a week.
Well, it's funny, because my motorbike, I haven't properly ridden since the pandemic, really. I went out a few times over the pandemic, but it needed a service, and there was nobody in Pocklington to get it serviced.
Right.
I'd have to drive it into York and then get it serviced and come drive back, and I never bothered. But because I knew we were moving, really. So what I did on Monday, took it into a place here, and I said to the guy, I want a full service. It's not been serviced since before the pandemic. It was due a service then. It's been in storage for 3.5-4 months. While we've been, full service, please. Did he do a full service? He changed the oil and blew up the tyres and charged me 110 quid. No oil filter change, no checker spark. The timing's slightly out, And I'm just thinking, well, you've just they did cars as well. Not only have you lost my business for the bike, but you've also lost the fact that our car needs a service in the next 2 or 3 months.
Yeah.
And I was going to take it to him.
Yeah.
So there's another couple of places. So we'll take them somewhere else, really.
Yeah.
But I felt really ripped off,
Yeah, you got to find a good one that you can trust and then keep. I mean, I've been lucky that I've got a mate round here that's a mechanic, and so when we first moved here and we were on a really tight budget, he was always, he'd always make sure that we were okay, and he wouldn't, he'd never rip us off. And then when I got the VWs, I bought them on plans. So certainly the second and the third one. So all my servicing costs were like paid for the first 2 years or so. So it was all done by the dealer because it didn't cost me anything. But one of my wife's friends, her husband, I think it is, just recently opened up a garage, and he's very well respected, as in he's a real stand-up guy. I remember when Jackie broke down outside the village once, and then I came and got her, and then stayed with the car until the recovery came. Dan went past, and I didn't notice it was him, and then he slammed the brakes on, put it in reverse, came all the way back up and says, "Are you okay, mate? Can I do anything?" I said, "No, don't worry. The RAC are coming." He said, "Are you sure?" Because and he said, "No." And they said, "Well, look, when you get it home, just bring it to me. I'll take a look at it." And so when he set his own little business up, we didn't feel obliged to, but we thought, yeah, no, he's a nice guy. He won't rip us off. We know like 2 or 3 of the people that work there. We know the receptionist. We know him, and you know they're not going to fuck you around because you know them, they know you. You're part of a village community. That's that's another great part of living in a village. Not that we live there anymore, but we still. And everybody knows everybody, and if he was to rip one of them off, he'd lose all of that business.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I was lucky well, actually, not only when there was a motorcycle dealer. In fact, I bought this bike off him, and I'd been going to him for when I had my DAWs 650, which I had for 15 years. He trained as a Honda mechanic, I think. Set up his own little, and he was in an industrial estate. Yet to find him, but he was absolutely brilliant. Completely trusted him, Sadly, I mean, like I say, when it needed a service in York, I would have taken it to him, but he'd closed by then.
Yeah.
So he closed. I don't know if he closed through the pandemic or whether it was before the pandemic, but within the last service that he did on it, and so within that year leading up to the pandemic, he'd gone. But completely trusted him. Never ripped me off. Prices were always good. Lots of good. I could ring him up and say, "This is happening. What's that? What do you think it is?" And what he did do once, I broke down, and I was this is when I had the 650. Broke down in York, and I was probably a 10-minute walk from his place, and it's about 6 o'clock at night, and I'm walking down the street with a 650 motorbike, pushing the bloody thing, right? Thinking, I think I need to get it to Stewart's, and he came back on his way home. He went, "You broke down?" I went, "Yeah. I will stick it in the van." I said, "Well, I'm bringing it to you now." He said, "No, just stick it in the van. We'll stick it." So so he opens the van, stick it on. He says, "I'm going home." He says, "I'll bring it back in the morning, and then I'll give you a ring and let you know what's up with it." Which was brilliant, really.
Yeah. Aye.
But it's nice. I have to say, it is quite nice to be back out on the bike. Because like I say, I haven't ridden it for at least 6 months.
I'm not sure whether I used to have a motorbike, and I'm not sure I'd want to get on one again, because I know that there is this wonderful kind of sense of sort of freedom, just you and this little machine that you can just sit on and ride around. But I always remember the bad times.
You have to be careful. You have to be. I mean, you have to go with the attitude that every driver is out to get you. And I mean, I
do that anyway, regardless of if you're on the bike.
I mean, the amount of times that even although I haven't done it for 6 months, the fact that already, like today, 2 people pulled out in front of me. They don't think, but that the look and think bike thing doesn't exist for some people. So you really have to be careful. But I mean, it's only a cheap Chinese 250. Looks like an old BSA Bantam.
Okay.
In fact, the seat's like an old BSA Bantam. It's bloody uncomfortable. So it was not expensive by any stretch of the imagination, but I bought it just to run around the walls in it, which is exactly what I did do.
Yeah. No, I had a few offs, shall we say?
I've fallen off.
At me.
I was knocked off when I had a 650. I mean, I did a bit of touring with the 650. I did the Roman roads one year, all the way down to Exeter and all the way back up via Norfolk, actually, which was quite a fun thing to do. And staying off motorways, staying off dual carriageways, trying to do it on small roads, which was great. It took a while, a few stops along the way. But it was really good fun. But I was knocked off on my way home from work, because when I worked at the university, Jane had the car, I had the bike, and the only time I wouldn't take the bike out was if it's snowing. Any other day, didn't bother about rain or that sort of stuff. It was fine. And this, I was white lining in traffic, going really slow, and this kid didn't look, and he just tried to do a U-turn without looking. and I got trapped under the bike. You know, he said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see you." And anyway, I managed to, you know, he bent the pedal, knackered the forks, and he did pay for it, or his dad paid for it, I think. You know, and he didn't want it to go through insurance and all that, but they did pay up. You know, so that's the only time I've actually been knocked off. I fell off in twice. One was on a little Honda 90, whereas it rained, and basically a sinkhole had opened up in the middle of the road.
Oh, blimey.
And it was full of water, so you couldn't see it. So
No.
the road's wet. Front of, I mean, you're not going very fast on a Honda 50, you know.
No.
I was probably about early 20s. Front wheel went down, and I literally, me and the bike went top over tip, and I went right over and hit my head. I had concussion for a week.
Wow.
You know, bike was a write-off, really. You know, but in wet weather, I slipped, but I wasn't going very fast.
Yeah.
I slipped, and that was the Honda. You know, no damage to the bike. Biggest problem was picking the bloody thing up on my own.
Yeah.
You know,
I used to have this little Honda MT50, which is a little trials bike, bored out to 69cc. Yeah, and it was a cracking little thing, and it had big chunky tyres on it. And the thing was, it was my only method of transport, and I lived in one village, and I was working like 2 or 3 villages over in the local co-op, and I was full time, so it was like every day. And so come rain or shine, you know, or snow, I'd have to go to work. There were buses, but they were so, you know, ill timed with my shifts and everything, so didn't have much choice. And between my village and the next village was this small road that got very narrow, so literally 1 car width wide, trees, literally canopy of trees. It was like a tunnel almost, and it had a curve in it, so you couldn't see what was coming up the other way, and there was no passing places, so it was just pot luck. You just went for it and hoped nothing was coming, and that you'd get out in time. And it was, I don't think it was snowing, but it was very icy one day. So I was taking it nice and steady, and I got to the top, and this car was coming up, so I just gently applied the brakes, but maybe a little bit too hard, and I hit a patch of ice, and that was it. Boom, I was over. And then I started to slide towards this car that luckily had stopped in time, and no contact was made. But I can remember sort of like being on my side, seeing the front of this car sort of getting closer, and thinking, fuck. And then I think it was the following winter, same place, but at the bottom. So I'd actually gone down, and I was coming out the end, and a car was coming up and obviously didn't see me, so I had to put my brakes on quite hard. Bike went out from under me, started sliding, just as an articulated lorry full of chickens was going to the local chicken processing plant. And again, it was just that kind of thing. Yeah, it was like 90 degrees. I'm coming this way. The lorry's coming this way. I'm thinking, am I going to go under it, or literally under it, or just through it? But again, all kind of stopped. But I mean, my indicators were on my handlebars, and so every time I went over, indicators would fly off, the clutch lever or the brake lever would fly off. All sorts of fucking it just got to a point where I thought, oh fuck this, and I moved into town here in Stowmarket, and I was within like a 2-minute walking distance of my job, so the bike just sat out in the backyard, and it started to get just gathering dust literally, and so I sold it to this kid who then used to ride it around his dad's fields or something, and then the last I heard, the piston shot through the head into the fuel tank, and I went, and that was it, gone. I
mean, literally from 16, I've always had a bike. There's been a couple of times when I didn't have a bike, but I always wanted another bike. So I started with a Honda 50, a Mobilette Sport Special, which is a moped. Those I mean, it had pedals, but you couldn't really pedal it. You could pedal it, but not. You couldn't go anywhere on it.
No.
It's too heavy. So I had that. Then I under 50. I had a few under 50s, Yamaha 50. Then I had a Yamaha 90, which I really liked actually. And then for years I rode sort of little 50, 70, 90 cc bikes. Never bothered taking my test because I could ride them all without on a full driving license. And it wasn't until I was I must have been about 35, 36 I decided to take the bike test. And I bought a 125 to actually do the test on. And it was a Yamaha 125, and it had great big chunky tyres on the back. It wasn't very fast. It really would. I mean, you'd be lucky to do 40 miles an hour on it. It really wasn't very fast for a 125. And it was parked outside the office at the university, and it got nicked. Went to pick it up, and the bolt cropped through the chain that I'd put around the wheels, and clearly stuck it in the back of a van or whatever, and it was gone. So I got paid out for that. Then did my test and bought a 650.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it was a combination of not using it and not having to use it, and losing a couple of friends, one in a particularly nasty way, on motorbikes, that just made me think, you know what, is this worth it? I should really start thinking about learning to drive a car, because there's a little bit more security in that. You do feel slightly vulnerable on a bike. I mean, interestingly, there's a young kid on a little white sports bike 125 with it's clearly got an aftermarket exhaust. It sounds horrendous. I mean, it sets. I'm just seeing the James just walking past. So either that or we've got a burglar. There's a sound thing on the camera outside, and it sends me a notification when this kid goes past, and he drives like a lunatic, And I'm thinking, you're either gonna kill yourself, kid, or you're gonna, crash the bike, and that'll be the end of that. And if you're lucky, you'll survive, because the way this kid is riding around. And you can literally hear him, not over on the estate, but I saw him in town. And it's, he's got this bloody aftermarket exhaust on it, and it sounds like a bag of spanners. I had a couple of mates that had 125s. One was a Kawasaki. Was it AZ? I can't remember now. And then the other guy had a... was it a Honda with the Rothmans racing kit on it? Had the whole fair. I mean, it looked like a proper racing bike, but it had the whole Rothmans livery on it and everything.
And it's a 125. Yeah,
it was a
125.
Yeah, and it looked. I mean, it was just like, I so want one of those, but could never afford it. Of course, you had to then, it was a 125. You had to, do. I think
CBT and all that.
Yeah, it's changed a lot now since then, but. Yeah, I remember he took me on the back of it, and we just went flat out. There's some bends out by near the A14, and we just got on there and proper sort of like your elbows almost touching the tarmac as you go around the corner. It was great. It was amazing, but scary. And I thought, I think this is the time where I need to learn to drive.
I don't like to go fast, I'll be honest with you. I don't like to go necessarily too fast in a car either, but no. I mean, certainly on a bike, I don't. I am Captain Slow, really, if anything.
Well, slow and steady wins the race.
Exactly, yeah.
I don't speed anymore. I mean, no, I do speed, but I'm much more wary. So where it's like nowadays, if I'm driving down the road where I know there's speed cameras, like come down the A14 between like Peterborough and Cambridge and that. There's all of these speed cameras on the sides of the gantries, sort of every couple of miles or so, and I can't be bothered. So I literally just stick it in cruise control and just sit there. I don't care what comes flying past me. I don't care if I'm doing 70 and the guy behind me wants to overtake, but I'm overtaking something else. Before I'd have just leathered it and said, "Come and fucking catch me, you bastard." I would have done, traffic light Grand Prix and all that kind of stuff. Just I can't be bothered with it anymore. It's just so disinteresting to me. I'm so, I just love to I love driving. I absolutely love the skill of driving a car and driving a nice car around on roads that are challenging, shall we say?
Yeah.
I like the ability to because I'll try and I'll stick it in manual and I'll do it do it myself, and I really enjoy it. But also I like being able to push a couple of buttons and then just pretty much take my foot off the pedals and literally just lightly touch the steering wheel, because it will maneuver itself as long as there's a little bit of resistance from me. It will carry on doing that, and I love doing that.
Mine's got cruise control. It doesn't do the steering wheel thing though. But and I've started using. Jen won't use cruise control at all, but I have certainly started using it. It just makes life easier, doesn't it? Really?
There's not many. Like the UK doesn't have roads that are built for cruise control. Like if you go to the US, where you've got massively long stretches of uninterrupted highway, then it's the most obvious thing. But in the UK, until I got a car which has adaptive cruise control, which means that when you get closer to the car in front, the car says, "Oh, you're getting close to a car in front, we'll slow you down." But when that car moves away, the car says, "Oh, we'll move you forward." So that makes a lot more sense, because you're not forever stopping and starting, where the car pretty much does. Even like if you're in traffic, if you're in a traffic jam, say you're on a dual carriageway, there's some roadworks or something, and it's stop, start. Put it into adaptive cruise control, and the car will stop, bring you to a nice gentle stop, and then when the car in front moves away, all you've got to do, depending on how long it's been since the car came to a stop, if it's only a few seconds, the car will start moving again, as long as the car in front has started moving. If you've been there maybe 5 or 10 seconds, all you've got to do is just dab the throttle, and the car will just very slowly start to move, maintaining a safe distance from the car in front and not going anything above your maximum speed limit that you've set in the cruise. So all that thing with sort of having to constantly declutch and all that, all gone. It's so relaxing.
That sounds great, actually. That really does sound great.
But it's more things to go wrong, because it relies. You've got a radar in the front grille that scans like 1,200 meters or something. No, not 1,200 meters. That'd be a kilometer, wouldn't it? It was like 1,200 feet or something like that. It scans massively in front of you. Then there's a camera, an actual camera. Set above the rear view mirror, so it's pointing out so between the camera and the radar and all the other sensors that are in the vehicle, proximity sensors, it kind of knows exactly where it is on the road. It knows where all the vehicles are. Like if you've got cruise control and you're driving down a dual carriageway and the car in the outside lane is going slower than you, it will show up on the dashboard that you're undertaking, and it will slow the car so you don't undertake, because obviously that's an illegal manoeuvre. So it's just
I thought they changed the law on that. If somebody's hogging the middle lane, then you can undertake them legitimately, and stay in the middle lane. Because I've done that a few times.
I hate those people.
Oh yeah, I mean, pull over. Don't be a dick.
Exactly. You should always be travelling in lane 1 and only ever go to lanes 2 and above if you've actually got a legitimate reason to overtake.
I have seen some roads down here though that where lane 1 is just literally full of potholes.
Oh right, yeah.
We've seen more of that, and then obviously middle lane and outside lane are better.
Yeah. That does.
But Labour will fix that, won't they? He'll fix the potholes. That'll be the first job when they're in.
We can but hope.
I don't like Keir Starmer.
I don't. But listen, what's the alternative?
Oh God, the alternative. Bloody hell.
There are no
more
alternatives.
More Mr. Wetsuit.
Yeah, exactly. There are no alternatives.
No.
You know Attila the stockbroker, the poet, right? So he's dyed in the wool, proper socialist. In fact, some would say he was communist, but he would argue that. Dyed in the wool, proper socialist, and I've followed his work and his writings and stuff for since high school when I first saw him live. And he is saying a lot of things just, in the last sort of year or so, as we've been sort of getting towards this point where we knew, we're going to have an election. And Maggie Starmer he said, look, he was a massive Corbyn supporter, obviously. But he was like, what chance, what are the alternatives? Right now, this system is broken, it's fucked, but it's not going to change before the next election. So we've got to look at the reality. This is what we've got. The Tories have spent the last 14 years literally dismantling this country.
Yeah, they have,
And it cannot go on. The main alternative is, of course, Labour. The other alternatives are just not really. They're not up to the job. They don't have. They stand no chance. I think forming a government.
Here, was surprised actually because a lot of the southwest is quite Tory stronghold. Had we gone over to Wiltshire, then it would have been a Tory MP. It's a Lib Dem MP here, so I suspect that they may. I'll vote Lib Dem to make sure a Tory doesn't get in if it comes to it. Well,
in your neck of the woods, voting Lib Dem is actually a very good thing to do because they are the second most popular party.
Yeah.
So it makes sense in that respect.
I mean, the saving grace for the Labour shadow cabinet to some extent is I quite like Angela Rayner. Actually, I think she's very down to it. I mean, I think she should be leader. If I'm honest, she just seems to talk sense to me.
She will be at one point. I think when Keir maybe has done his first 5 or 7 years, then maybe.
I think Rachel Reeves got her head screwed on. She knows economics, so I think there's a chance that she'll probably be all right. And there are other really good people in there. There's some tossers, but I'm
just hoping. I'm hoping, and I'm probably way off the mark here, but I think Keir has done a good job in steering the Labour Party back into the closer to the centre ground. Whereas many people thought that it'd gone too far left. In fact, I don't think
Tony Blair.
It is, but it is. But look, it worked for Tony Blair. It got Tony Blair into government. And then once he was in, yes, he had some, certainly up until 2001. He had some. It was kind of a little golden era, wasn't it? 97 to 2001. The country was buzzing. Everything was like really positive and upbeat, and then of course 9/11, Iraq War. Tony Blair makes all the sort of wrong decisions, and then ruins his legacy, so to speak, and obviously ruins many millions of people's lives. But I'm just hoping that Keir has made the party electable, and that once they're in power, there'll be a soft but gentle move back towards more traditional Labour socialist values. It doesn't look promising. I'll give you that. But I resigned. I actually resigned from the Labour Party when. Yeah, I cancelled my membership. I've the two things about that. One is that I just thought they kept asking me for money all the time. Yeah, and they're still doing it now. Yeah, I know, and I just come on. I'm not loaded. I've paid my subscription for the year. I'll give you money if I can, but I'm not loaded. Yeah. And stop asking me. I got sick of that. I think it's prudent. I think it's prudent to keep people on their toes, because I think so many people think that the Tories are just going to lose this, and they're going to be, they're going to get massively defeated. And so there will be a proportion of the population who think, it's nailed on. Don't have to go out and vote. I don't have to just do a little bit extra. So I think, I get pissed off with all the Labour emails that I'm getting, maybe 2 or 3 times a week. Could you donate £1 here? Could you donate £3 there? because this is going to be one of the most expensive election campaigns because the Tory donors are going to be throwing all this money at them and blah, blah, blah. And they've got a point, and we mustn't let it slip away. The most important thing about July 4th this year is that we get the Tories out.
Out. I agree.
That's
absolutely
number one priority. Then we'll start thinking about other things. But
yeah. James says, "You guys have a king making the boss overall. Don't get me started on the monarchy, because I am a Republican in that respect.
Yeah. So,
I want rid of the monarchy.
Yeah,
I don't have a king.
Yeah, we have a king, but the king
who's
means
going to open new supermarkets?
That's true.
Boris,
Andrew, Andrew the paedophile.
Oh yeah,
allegedly.
That doesn't sweat.
He doesn't sweat
and likes pizza.
Yeah, I did. I quite liked the film they made of that with. Jane wasn't interested, and I watched it one night. I thought it was all right. Actually, I thought it was pretty good. Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, I'll watch anything with Gillian Anderson in. But she was really good.
She was very good. Yeah. She's great in Sex Education.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dirty one. Yeah.
Yeah, I got a weird email today.
Did you?
Yeah.
Just say yes.
Was it offering you $1.5 million from a Nigerian prince?
Yeah.
No, it was a meme.
Oh, okay.
About Keir Starmer.
Okay. It wasn't
From the Conservative Party.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Wow.
They're trying to get down with the kids now and do memes.
Yeah. So you got this Keir Starmer doll in the box and everything with what was it? Interchangeable values.
Oh,
so they're doing that tactic, are they?
Well, the thing is, they've got fuck all else. I mean, the thing is, the irony is everything that
apparently they haven't got umbrellas either.
Well, yeah,
no. You see, that showed weakness. Having somebody holding an umbrella for you shows weakness, and we can't put it inside because Rishi wanted his moment in front of number 10.
He wanted his moment in the front. Yeah, exactly. That was his thing.
Yeah.
No.
But weakness.
I saw a brilliant. I think I showed it on the show, didn't I? It was. Is it still in here? I think it was the best one yet. It was a picture of Rachel Reeves and Keir Starmer. I'll put the picture on. It says, "New Order back in the studio recording their new album."
Yeah, that was it. Yeah. He does look like Gillian. Yeah.
Yeah, and he looks a bit like Barney as well. So.
He's got that jacket on, hasn't he?
Yeah. Oh, that was hilarious. But I've seen a number of memes like that. The other one was what was it? It read like, she was saying, "Now look, Johnny, your dad's here and he wants to take you bowling for the weekend. Is that okay?" So because it looked a bit like the absent father coming over to take his kids out for a day. Yeah, there's some good ones going around. Yes, it's going to be 5.5 weeks are going to be.
I think I might stop watching the news because it'll just be. It's already full of it, isn't it?
Yeah. But look at it this way: at least we're not in America, where it goes for 2 years basically.
Yeah, I'm reading a book by Fiona Hill. I actually started reading it a while ago and stopped halfway through to read something else. But Fiona Hill was an expert in Russian history, but she worked as part of the Trump administration. She's British, so she's born she's born in the northeast, I think. But her take on, I've just started the part about the last Trump election, and her assessment is just absolutely on the ball. That all of these, the blue collar workers in America signed up for what they thought was, he was going to reopen coal mines and the steel industry and all this sort of thing, and then they realised that actually it's all about Donald Trump. It's he's completely bloody a megalomaniac, but her assessment is really, really interesting, and she compares it to. We've just had a bit about Farage, and it was interesting. Farage isn't standing because he's going to go and help Donald get the American election later on this year. I mean, for God's sake, you know.
Well, the reality is he's not standing because he couldn't get.
He couldn't win.
voted in,
Yeah, exactly.
and he doesn't want to be embarrassed again like
No.
he was the last time. But he likes to take all the credit, you know, like
Yeah,
Brexit, you know.
Oh yeah, he did that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, at least I know who to punch in the face then.
Well,
Yeah.
There's a few. There's
And then
a
double
few.
tap to the back of the head.
Yeah.
Pocket me brass, leave. It's all right, smack. Good day, sir.
Well,
Yeah.
I was doing polyrhythms on my drum brute impact this morning, and
Steady on.
surprising how simple and easy it was to do it. I've had Loopop's 20-minute like video manual thing as a tab. It's been open like all week, and it's only this morning that I actually sort of watched it, and this is a cool little thing.
I need to get in the habit of learning stuff again.
Yeah.
You know, I need to do more stuff with the Hydrosynth. I need to do stuff on the Pulse 23.
You need to do a nice demo on the Polybrute 12.
You do.
I need to do that.
You do.
Yeah. I need to do
But
that.
not with Justin playing piano over it all the time.
No,
You can't hear it.
no, you need to mute him sometimes. Bless him.
He's just done a 13.5-mile run. Apparently, he popped
Yeah.
in the chat earlier.
Has he?
Yeah,
More for him.
indeed. Indeed.
Now he's got to run 13.5 miles back again.
Back, yeah.
See, the thing with the Polybrute 12 is that, you know, it is in large part very much identical to the 6, other than the 6 extra voices and this keyboard mode. And so
Yeah.
it's not the most thrilling of demonstrations because most people know exactly what it what it does and what it can do, and sounds amazing. But yeah, it's I'm still having to play those voices gently to coax those kind of tones out of it. That takes a bit of practice with the keyboard, and you can easily just switch it into another mode and you'll be fine. But you want to make the most of this thing. It's dead clever, the fact that you can have a patch and just play nice sort of paddy sounds with one hand, and then the other hand, much more plucky, short attack stuff.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm hoping it's going to be at Synth Fest or a Gear Fest.
Oh yeah, it will be. Yeah, I'm
yeah,
sure
and I want to get my hands on it. I mean, I'm not going to buy one. That's obvious. I don't need another keyboard, and but I certainly want to have a go with it because I'm interested.
Oh, it is it's a lovely thing to look at as well.
It's gorgeous, actually.
It's a pretty thing.
It's got bits of wood on it.
It's
got wood.
And the cream, it's
Yeah, this size a tree.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very and Tolex.
Yeah.
Steady.
Yeah. It does look nice though.
It's a shame it hasn't got. Not that I would use it, but I know it would make a lot of people more excited if it had more CV or any CV in gate, because it's got sync. It's got the sync in and out, but it hasn't got any CV gate. It's just standard MIDI and USB. And it would have been nice for them to have, just thought, about those people that would make use of that. But I don't know. Maybe there's a good reason for them not doing it. I personally don't miss it, but yeah, it's a lovely thing. And the fact that you can take patches that haven't even been designed for use with this engine and get those effects. So I loaded up some of James' patches.
You were saying about that. So the MPE works, and I'm assuming that Jamie didn't do any MPE from. But
No. So when I say that it's doing stuff, the full touch mode, of which there are 3 options. One is envelope into aftertouch. So basically, as your finger moves through the passage of the key, you are slowly invoking the effect that aftertouch is assigned to.
Yeah.
but the envelope bit means that it follows the envelope that you've got programmed in, and you can change that on the fly. So if the envelope has a soft attack, you can bring that down and just push the velocity up, and then therefore you're getting a little plucking. You kind of you open the envelope very, very sharply, and that doesn't require any programming of the patch per se.
Right.
So as soon as you just adjust, as soon as you put it into that alt mode, it almost instantly does something new to the sound that didn't need any programming. It's just simply the performance bit.
Yeah, that's interesting because some of the sounds, some of the patches I've got for the instrument, right, and they are all MPE, and I'm sure that some of the things I'm able to get out of the articulation of doing things, and I'm thinking of things like there's a patch on. It's it's something on one of the iPad synths, and it's a simulation of singing bowls. So if I play on the iPad, it just sounds like singing bowls. The minute I play on the instrument, I can get extra stuff which doesn't quite sound like singing bowls, and actually I love that because it's doing something different that wasn't actually meant to be there. And I quite like that about some of the MPE stuff because it's that hidden accident almost.
Yeah. So let me just. Yep. Okay. Right. Reading presets. So this, I'll give you for example. God, I've got so many bloody presets on this thing. Okay. Oh, over to Polly Brewer.
Hey up, lad.
Oh, right. Okay. So this is a factory preset, and this is how it comes out of the box. And if you do the aftertouch, you get a little
I can
bend.
hear that.
And that's poly aftertouch on that. So, but if you put it into alt mode straight away, that sound then starts. So as you're pressing the key down, you're basically opening or you're activating the envelope. Go into the aftertouch zone, and you get that little bend.
So if you just tap it, do you get the ping back?
But when you tap it,
yeah.
So that's what it does. Now this is one of Jamie's sounds, and it was just this one is. So on its own, this is just. So this is this is mono aftertouch. Got a nice little 80s and a little vibrato on the. Put it into poly aftertouch. It's exactly the same, but of course you get the poly aftertouch on each note. As soon as you put it into alt mode, it becomes a pad when you play it like that, but hit the key harder. So instantly, without having to reprogram the patch, just putting it into that alt mode, it becomes two different sounds within one patch.
So the keyboard is one unit on its own. So you've got the polybrute and you've got the keyboard.
Yeah.
And it communicates to the voice cards exactly the same way every time.
Yeah.
So literally, they've already built the controller. But it's just in that case with 12 voice cards on it.
And then, of course, you've got the morphing. So this is the second. So each patch has an A and a B. This is the B. I'll put that into. So this is what it is. And then morphs all the way through to that. Put it into the alt mode. So just instantly your palette just increases exponentially by just going into that alt mode. But then there are 3 modes in the alt mode. So the first one is this envelope into aftertouch. So it's just you're opening the envelope, and then you have an aftertouch, and if you pluck it, you do that. But then you've got the second aftertouch mode, which is just so it invokes the aftertouch during the passage of the key. So that vibrato comes in, but I'm not pushing into the traditional
into the
aftertouch
80
zone.
Yeah.
And then you've got AT to Z. Z being the Z plane on the Morphe. So you can now actually use whatever you've set the Morphe to do. So let me just put this into mono. So that's the effect, that kind of dropping of an octave. That's what Jamie's programmed in the Z plane.
Yeah.
All right.
Put it into alt aftertouch and then AT into Z. Not only do you get the soft into there, but when you go into the aftertouch zone, you hear it. So it goes. So when you push the aftertouch, you get the Z plane motion as well. So that means that you can apply whatever you've assigned to the Z plane on a per note basis, rather than just because before when you hold that down, if I put it into mono, everything changes. But by doing it that way, you do it on a per note basis.
Right.
So it's instantly, libraries that weren't even created with any of this in mind are benefiting from those features.
That's
now,
great.
When Jamie gets hold of one of these, and I know he's going to,
he will do. Yeah, he'll borrow one from his local dealer. He's got
music. I think Music Matter will sort him out.
He's got a really good relationship with them, hasn't he?
That's it. So he'll then take all of those patches and
Tweak them.
start PB12ing them. It's and I'm learning more, which I'm not entirely sure how much I can sort of talk about, but this thing was never the full. This was never Endgame. It was always this. And so therefore there's a lot of stuff in here that just wasn't switched on, shall we say.
Right.
And I think in the coming weeks and months we're going to, Polybrute 6 owners are not going to be abandoned, shall we say.
I do like Arturia stuff though. I mean, I don't have, the only thing I've got is what have I got apart from soft synth stuff. Just the Microfreak, which I have to say I do love. I spent quite a bit of time at the London Synth show. I spent quite a bit of time on the next one up, that's the Microfreak. It's the Mini Freak, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I thought that was great actually, but I have to be honest and didn't want one. And I'd have to get rid of a keyboard if I was going to buy anything else.
The Mini Freak is great. I feel terrible that it's kind of over there at the moment, not connected to anything, because there was a point where it was just literally on my desk all the time.
And I don't have a problem with the mini keys. I actually quite like mini keys.
They're good.
Underneath here is a Korg MicroStation mini keys, 61 note mini key.
Yeah,
it's great actually. If I'd have got it in the car and the day we left Pocklington, I would have taken it with me because it's just a really good. I mean, and I'm quite happy to play with mini keys. No problem at all. So I don't have an issue with that actually. And I liked. I thought the synth itself was great.
Oh, it sounds massive for what it is.
Yeah,
it sounds 10 times bigger than it physically is. It's a really, really nice synth. And I would love for them to at some point do a full-size version.
You see, I'd have to move something else out of here. Really, 2.
But I think that freak engine deserves a big keyboard.
Yeah.
Some.
And I've enjoyed playing it live. I use it. I'm in probably the last six EMOMs I've used it.
Mm-hmm.
For different things, which has been brilliant, really.
Yeah.
So it's one of the things that's not plugged in at the moment. Only because
same with my micro. It's
I'm running out of. I mean, it's sat there because I need to decide what I'm going to do with it. I think I'm going to put a couple of shelves up here, so it'll probably live on there, and
Yeah, no, I was listening to the podcast today that Sam did at Sound on Sound with Frederick, and it's only like 40 minutes long. I mean, it could have been 10 times that to go through their history, but he starts at the beginning and starts asking you about Storm, the software, and then then when they started to do the plugins, and then when the Origin, and
I don't remember the Origin actually.
Yeah, they they accept that the Origin was probably too much too soon, and then the Mini Brute.
Yeah,
and what I often forgot anyway was that the Mini Brute came at a time when there was, if you wanted an analog synthesizer in 2012, there wasn't a lot of choice.
Yeah.
Not like there is today. I mean, today,
No.
everywhere you look,
there's almost too much now, really.
Yeah, but back then it was either very boutique and very expensive. So, yeah, it was an interesting thing. But it's a great little podcast.
I subscribe to the Sound on Sound podcast, and I will listen to it at some point. So, I really enjoyed the one about drums. Was it Cara or somebody who did the one about drum machines?
Oh, that was Ollie Freak.
Yeah, that was great. Actually, that was really, really good. Really
he's a good
that.
lad, is Ollie. Yeah. And Caro does some good ones. She goes
does
for
actually.
More esoteric. And she's definitely trying to bring the female contingent.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is great.
She's really nice, actually.
Yeah, she's lovely. I've worked with her a few times, and she's very good. Yes, they are uploading a lot to YouTube now, which is good. So.
Yeah, I listened to it on Apple, actually.
Yeah,
no, it's not. It's the podcast app. Yes, the podcast app on Apple.
Yeah, Google Podcasts is shutting down, isn't it?
That doesn't surprise me because Google do drop things like that. Yeah. I've listened to all of them apart from the latest one.
I've got like 3 or 4 that I've got to book. I sort of managed to sort of head them off at the pass, saying that I was busy because I was. But now I'm less busy, I think. So I've got a couple of, what have I got? A couple of book authors. One which is quite nice, quite an interesting one. Well, they're both interesting, but this one particularly so. And then also I think John Bowen, the Solaris guy.
Oh wow.
Sequential.
Yeah.
So that'd be a good one. Trying to nail a few musicians down, but they're out gigging all the time.
Yeah.
Terrible, eh? Musicians
earning a crust.
I know.
I start my new gig next month. Well, actually, the first rehearsal is going to be the 17th of next month. But and he's been very patient. He knows what's gone on of late. The move and the funeral and all that sort of stuff. So he's been very patient. But so I get to. I mean, they might not like me. I might not. I might not be in the band. I'm in the band at the moment, but I might not be in the band when they meet me face to face. So and it's alt. I'm doing alt country.
What's that?
Yeah, well, I've never played that. Years ago I played in a country duo for a while, for about 18 months, doing workingmen's clubs, which was all right. This is a Canadian guy. I can't name him yet until I really have got the gig. I'm quite a big Steve Earle fan, Don. I always have been. So from a country point of view, that's as far as I go. And this guy's got that sort of, the songwriting's really good, which is the main important thing, and he's got a voice, you know. But yeah, and he's Canadian, living in Bristol. Band rehearses in Bath, so I don't have to go to Bristol for every rehearsal. And I think he said he's just got a guitarist out of Star Sailor. Do you remember Star Sailor?
Yeah, I remember Star Sailor.
Yeah, apparently the guitarist out of theirs in the band, which I thought, that's interesting. And he's I think this week and next week he's auditioning a girl backing singer. So he's putting a reasonable sized band together. I'm playing keyboards and an instrument. He wants the instrument.
Okay.
Which I'm quite pleased about. You know, so we'll see, really. And he sent me the songs so far.
Yeah.
About a dozen songs, you know. And I said, you know, do you want me to? Because there's piano on the demos. I said, do you want me to play the piano? Do you want to play the keyboards like the demo? It's just basically piano and organ.
Yeah.
He went, no. He says, there's only one song that I think I need you to play the riff. The rest of it, you can do your own thing on it. And I go, that's all right. You know.
Nice.
He says, I want people to bring what they do to it.
Yeah.
Which is quite nice. So we haven't talked about money yet.
Yeah.
As long as it's more than a tenner and covering petrol, I'm probably quite happy.
That's
to
it.
be fair.
Petrol and beer. That's what.
Yeah. Well, I'm no beer. I don't really drink that often. You know, spill most of it.
Yeah. Oh dear Lord. Blimey. You as well.
I know. Saturday afternoon in the pub.
Yeah. Talking of that, I'm going to empty before I refill.
I'm going to go and
If you
get
know
it.
what I mean.
Well, I'll wait till you come back then, because I don't leave poor old Kent on his own. I was going to go and get a refill this with water.
I'll just play. I'll play.
Well, that's nice. All right, then I'll go and get myself some water. I'll be back in a minute.
All right, dear. Right, let's keep the troops entertained. What have we got here? Let's have a look. Let's try that. Oh, you're back.
We are.
Please tell me you press record. Please tell me you recorded that.
No.
Kent,
What?
we can put that out, man.
Oh, mate, I
People
do all my
buy
best
that.
stuff when I'm not recording.
People
I
will
need more
buy that.
hands. I need more hands. Need a couple of hands.
You got hands behind you.
Yeah, get him
Yeah,
in.
where were
Get
you?
him involved. Yeah, where were you anyway?
Come here. Come here. You could have played the bass. You could have done bass notes, darling. Yes?
Yeah, but Waggo, the recording of YouTube doing it isn't great, is it? It's got to put
Yeah, not wonderful.
not quite what we're after.
No, I took a leaf out of Synchrotron's book of
Yeah.
having something running
Yeah.
and then play to it. As it were.
I mean, what I've done in the past, now I will do it again here. Now everything's wired up.
Yeah.
The Tascam 24, it's got an SD card in it. I mean, it's to be fair, I'm just using it obviously hardwired to the Focusrite. There's no point trying to do any multi-track recording to a computer with it, but multi-track recording to an SD card works great. And that's what I've done in the past, and I will continue to do that. So I'll start a jam and I'll record it for however long I want it to be, and then I sit on it. I've got stuff to look at that I haven't looked at for months, really.
Yeah.
And I always like to leave it and come back to it with fresh ears, because then I will start to chop it up and I'll move stuff around and cut out bits that are crap, and so I've done that. So the last couple of albums, some of the tracks have started life like that, as an improvised jam.
Yeah.
So you need to be able to multi-track what you're doing and just record everything,
Yeah.
and then give it to me. I'll chop it up and turn it into a track.
Oh, okay.
If you want to do that,
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah.
No, I love
And I'll take all the
experimenting.
credit.
That's fine. I don't care. Now, all these extra features on the Rise with the trackpad and the 3 touch sliders as well. I used to think it did things like change. Well, it can change the sensitivity of the glide and stuff like that. But in the Equator 2, they started adding other features, like bringing in that flanger.
I've only got Equator 1, and it's only on my laptop, because it wouldn't work on here, because my license, because I don't have a Rolly anymore. And I did, to be fair, I did get it free because when we were Rolly dealers. So they gave me the license, which I put on my laptop. But when I changed computers to the M1, I just can't get it to work. And I probably should buy it, because I really like Equator. I think it's great.
Yeah. Equator 2 is lovely, though. There's so much extra stuff in it. But one of the things they put on the trackpads is like the tape echo. So if you go on the y-axis, the x-axis, you introduce more tape echo. But if you drag your finger across it, it's like pulling the tape.
Oh, that's cool. That is really cool.
So when you do that, and you get all this tape wobble on it and stuff like that, little things like that,
Yeah. What the hell is Keith doing in the chat?
I don't know.
What are you playing at, Keith? Not
What's that? Not
something. SB. I can't read upside down. I can't read the second word.
Not a clue.
No.
Do it in English, Keith.
Yeah. Stop doing it in Cockney.
I think maybe his return key's sort of like on
Stuck.
repeat.
Do we need to call an ambulance, Keith?
Are you making the hand gesture behind your back? I've been kidnapped.
Neil said he's had a go with the Logic new stems thing. I've installed the new Logic update, but I haven't done anything with
No,
it.
I haven't played with the stems.
Morning, afternoon, night, whatever the hell it is over there.
Justin, just
15
in
minutes
time.
afternoon.
Just in time, mate.
Yes,
In time.
just in time. Yeah.
Yeah. What is it? What does it say?
I can't get the second word. I'm sure he'll tell us at some point.
It's got not, I think. I've got not, that much
I've lost it now. Has he removed it?
No, it's still there.
I haven't got it. It's gone.
We've still got it here, I think.
It's in
Maybe not.
StreamYard, yeah.
I'm looking at the YouTube.
Oh, it's been deleted.
There we go.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. N. No. No.
No.
No.
No, 19? No?
Not. On a Saturday.
Oh, it's just no now.
Oh, don't
Oh,
use
wait a
that.
minute, here we
I
go.
do. Here we are.
There we go.
Knob.
Wagyu, you naughty. Get on the naughty step.
Oh, sorry, dear. Nah, quite acceptable in the pub.
Naughty Step. I haven't seen that show in 20 years.
Is there a show?
So
Is that an American thing, is it?
well, it was also UK thing. Super Nanny.
Oh, yeah.
I've never watched
Ah.
that either.
So-
I know of it, but yeah.
Basically, you get a
Same
family.
thing, is it?
Yeah,
Right.
family in turmoil. But
Yeah.
that was her method of discipline. Was the Naughty
Yeah.
Step.
Oh, right.
And
I
the
think I
theme,
prefer Super Grain.
yeah, and the theme song for the U.S. was "Be Good Johnny" by Men at Work.
Okay.
Super Grain was the what's her face who did the Flash adverts, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Clean floors without scratching.
I don't remember Supergram really either.
Is that remember Superman? It was
They
the
remember-
Scottish lady.
Yeah,
Oh, I can't remember her name now.
dressed up as a, but she was
She's
a
in the Flash
superhero
adverts,
or
yeah.
something. Yeah.
One of the Logic.
Right.
I think I might have put a bit of a reverb tail on that.
Just a
I
bit.
think so, yeah. That's interesting, Neil.
Oh, you can never have enough reverb.
Neil, which YouTuber? Which video? Because that is interesting.
Well, there's a Logic Pro YouTuber that does a good comparison. With.
Some
Oh.
Yeah, that I'm on a reverb. The opening track on my Walk in the Light album has a Duduk sample that uses a 15-second reverb.
Yep. Yeah, that's the right neck of the woods.
good man. Just want to get the ID number.
I was toying with the idea of trying out another door over Cubase.
Go Reaper. Go Reaper.
Well, I had a look at the layout of some of them and just went sort of like, where the fuck is everything?
Well, who's that?
Reaper takes a bit of setup.
See, no, I have not used any skins or anything. I've just used for years now. I've just used the bog standard version of Reaper. I can't be asked to mess around with it, and it works great for me. You know, it's my go-to certainly.
I think I tried it years ago because I was using Reason, but I needed audio at the same time. And back
Yeah.
in 2011, I couldn't afford the Reason/Record because I think it was still on Reason like 5 or 6. 6 was when
I used 4 was the last time I
Yeah.
used Reason. Yeah.
Well, 6 I believe was when the two came together, when you could start recording audio into it. I think I was using Sonar at the time, and I kind of was like, I kind of want something different. it handled MIDI okay, but there were a lot of bugs in it.
I started using it because I was on a PC, and the studios that I was using were all on Macs, so I could basically put the whole project on a hard drive and take it home with me.
Right.
And it's the only DAW that would do that at the time.
Right.
You know, and I stuck with it really. And I'm fast. If I'm working for somebody, like the recent dance project I did everything in Reaper because I'm quicker than I am in Logic. I don't know all the shortcuts in Logic because I don't use it enough. So I'll do Logic for some of my own projects because I want to learn more about it. I know, you know. And then they keep changing it, so I keep, you know, losing. I think I keep forgetting things, or you know.
Yeah, I ended up moving to Studio One I think a couple of years ago, just because I was looking for a notation software because I was starting to teach piano to kids, and I wanted to be able to write out my own stuff. And I'm like, oh, $15 a month. And I know how a lot of people feel about subscriptions, but it seems to work for me, where I can get Studio One Professional plus Notion plus all the other crap like loops and samples and stuff that, not that I'll ever use any of it. But I found my way around Studio One rather quickly, and I think it's because they've included templates for your keyboard shortcuts for pretty much every other major DAW. So let's say you're coming from like Pro Tools, you could load up the Pro Tools template into Studio One and work that way and do most of what you can do in Studio One. But then once you get yourself used to it, like I did it with Cakewalk for like a few weeks. I'm like, you know what? I think I want to try going to, you know, the default. And I found myself quite adept to, and I don't do a lot of keyboard shortcuts anyway, because most of it I've just been really adept with just using the mouse. Or when my fader port's set up, I've got a fader port 16 that I don't even need to do any driver install, you know, when I work with Studio One, because it just works.
I don't think I've used Studio One. I've used Nuendo in the past.
No, in your Endo.
My Endo, yeah. The last time I used Pro Tools was Pro Tools 8. And
I used.
I like the plugins on Pro Tools actually. I thought the plugins were really good. The stock plugins that came with it at the time I thought were very good. But you know.
Well, 8 also came with some of the Air instruments too.
Yeah.
Like when I got it, it came with the Mini Grand, it came with DB33, it came with Vacuum, not Vacuum Pro. It came with the Boom drum machine. It came with Expand 2, which is kind of like your, you know, sample playback workstation kind of thing. It came with a couple others that I didn't really use much, but the ones that I did use, like I used Mini Grand a lot, and I used the DB33 organ a lot. Those were pretty good. Matter of fact,
I remember installing the Mini Grand and the organ, I think.
It's not bad. I mean, for what it was at the time, it was really good, and it was pretty lightweight on the CPU usage, you know, for what it was.
It was I was using an old PC then as well.
Right. But yeah, last time I used Pro Tools was 9, and then I was like, yeah, I can't work like this.
It was because in those days you had to have it tied to an M box, didn't you? Because it was closed shot.
Up until 9.
Yeah, that's right.
But even with 9, you still had to have an iLock.
Yeah.
So if you bought 9, you had to get the physical iLock.
I've only just before we moved. Sold the M box 2 that I had with it. I kept it for such a long time. You know.
I had an original M box that would only work up to Pro Tools 7, wouldn't work on 8. However, I kind of hacked 8 in a way where. Well, I found a way to. I kind of Googled it. How do you get 8 to work with an original inbox? Oh, do this, and this, and I got it to work.
Yeah.
So what the hell is a fat man?
A fat man.
A man that's fat.
I wouldn't say
you did it, not me.
Robbie, you're not a fat man.
It's red, wedge shaped.
Weird Al Yankovic in 1988. Your butt is wide, well, mine is too. Well, not mine, but you know.
Because I found one in the shed and I don't know what it is.
Fat Man.
Yeah.
Is it something to do with synthesizers?
It seems to be some sort of amp or effects processor or something.
Oh, that sounds like a Fat Man Valve amp. Is it Valve?
Yeah, it looked valvey.
Yeah. Worth 200 quid used.
I found
Fat
one of
Man
them
tube
out
amp, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Is
And
it
a-
hi-fi? It looks a bit hi-fi.
I don't know. It's got like a round VU
TL
meter on it.
audio.
Yeah.
Fat Man.
Fat Man Audio iTube 182 was like the first thing that came
I think
up.
it's Fat Man 2 or something.
Yeah, Fat Man MI tube review. That might be it. Oh, that doesn't look like. That looks weird. That looks
Funny
like
little-
something like a Dalek. Sort of circular with 3 tubes with circular things
Yeah.
on top of them. Is that it?
It
Oh,
looks
no.
like maybe like a...
Yeah, that looks like it. I think
Oh, right.
I think it might have been a Fat Man 2 or something. But it looked
That
yeah,
looks
it looked pretty much red like that. It's wedge shaped thing.
It looks like a effects processor.
It could be.
Kind of makes sense.
Stick it
There's a
up, pop it up again. Picture. Was it you, Rob, that did it? Electric guitar, snare, kick.
Compressor.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it looks like
stereo
a
valve
compressor.
compressor. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Pressure on meter.
Yeah, I saw it in the
The
bottom of the
attack.
stacker box, along with there was a fab filter in there as well.
We do stereo though, so
Yeah.
God knows who's abandoned them here.
get it sold.
Yeah, that's when they turn up at the door.
Yeah, I think it's saying that, but stuff them.
Yeah, it's getting to that point now. Running out of room.
Yeah.
No, I told you 2 years ago. Come pick it up. And I told
Yeah,
you
we
after
get-
2
we get-
years, it becomes mine.
Yeah,
Oh, I don't
That's
remember
it.
you telling me
Two-
that.
200 quid, Ken. 200
Yeah.
quid on eBay. 195.
Yeah, that's it.
If it works, we'll get it sold for you.
Oh, that's the mono version.
Oh yeah, it is.
It's a valve
this
front
is-
end.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, this is mono for 200 quid as well.
There you go.
Yeah. What was in that stacker box? Was that a fab filter?
Guy,
Three-
it's on it.
Was it three
Same one for 300 quid.
TR606s and a TB303?
No, go ahead and burn the 303.
Yeah. Hybrid
Or blow it up.
solid state stereo compressor is what it is,
Uh-huh.
according to our friends at Sound and Sound.
Hmm.
Chunky thing.
Mind you, there's that infernal machine out in the garage, isn't there? I think I lent the keyboard out to somebody. Can't remember who. It'll come back to me, no doubt.
Yeah. Sound and Sound said the Fat 2 is a very practical and nice sounding front end for anyone who wants their compression made easy.
Oh. I move a thingy on my mixer. Can't get much easier than that.
That's very easy, yeah. But we should sell that Sunbeam. Don't
Mate,
bloody wait
there's-
for them to turn up.
Oh, mate. Yeah, I know. It's getting like that now. I still
Yeah.
want to know who owns that 2600 out in the shed.
September 2001 is when it was out.
The mental thing is, it's a tonus. It's not a G-clef or anything like that. It's a bloody tonus one. So it's 72, 73, something like that. Madness. You think somebody would be sort of going, hang on a minute, you see my £12,000 up 2600 anywhere? At some point, wouldn't you?
People are
I
funny
missed
though. I mean, you know, we had the shop 3 years before that woman turned up for a cello that we didn't have. I left a cello here 5 years ago. Is it still here?
Oh, that happened to me. I was doing a show at a church in Portland, about 45 minutes, and this is back in 2010, where my rig was a Keystation 88 ES, midied into a Korg M3, so that I could have, a sound on the 88 and then a sound on the M3, just using the M3. I forgot to bring the Keystation home. And then, 5 years later, I met one of the guys that goes to that church and ran into him and said, "Hey, is my MIDI controller still there?" He's like, "Oh yeah, it's still there." I'm like, I never got around to picking it up, but then again, I don't really miss it. Keybed was horrible. Keybed was worse than the Modi X's.
Tell you something you can sell, Ian.
Go on then.
This VX 600.
Okay.
You get that
VX 600.
shifted.
All right. I'm going to take some photographs and I'll put it up.
Well done. I'll speak to my people.
Yeah, speak to your people. I'll speak to my people too.
Yeah. I think we bought that to rape bits out of it to fix a Matrix 12. Since got the parts again.
Yeah.
So I can put them back in and make it a VX 600 again. I must admit, I didn't know Akai did an analog synth.
Oh gosh. Yeah, they. What was the first one? I think the first one was the AX80.
Yeah, but this looks like an AX80, but it's like a 37 motor or something. Yeah, it's a little puppy.
Yeah.
Heckin' heavy.
They had
Akai VX 600, right?
Yeah.
How much do you think it's worth?
We paid 14 for it.
Well, there's one on Reverb. I mean, it's what it's worth. It's not what it's necessarily going to sell for, is it? But somebody's got one up for 2.2. And they've dropped the price 32%, apparently. 2,259 is what they want for it.
Well, if we could get what we paid for it, we'd be happy. Because that's all we want to sell it for, because we just want to get the money back.
Yeah, well, yeah, and it's less space, isn't it? So you want your money back.
Unfortunately, it's not very big.
Yeah.
We need to get rid of some of the big things.
Yeah.
Oh, what time is it? Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, all this commotion downstairs.
Yeah.
Half an hour to dinner.
Yeah.
Noah starts at 4:15. He sits and he goes like that, just very quietly sitting on the settee. You go, shut up! You've still got an hour and a half to go.
Oh, that's also got an Iwi 1000 with it, though.
Is it?
It's a breath control.
That'll mop up.
Yeah. But you should get your money back for it.
That's all right. That's all we need. Didn't even play it, just sort of opened it up when it arrived and took the 2 chips out.
Right, well, if anybody wants to see the walkabout video and you're a Patreon subscriber, it's live on Patreon and currently uploading for our YouTube members, so that should be done shortly.
Yeah.
I got the email about it about 15 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Does it take a little while to process it once it's all up?
Well, the Patreon is done. That's uploaded and processed.
Okay.
At the moment, YouTube is currently processing, but it's 4K quality, so it's about 25 gig. So it's taking its time doing the processing.
Yeah, I know it will.
But I didn't realise they've actually now added a feature on YouTube for YouTube members, where you can release a video and it goes to them exclusively, but then you set a date and a time and it then becomes public. So I've just done it for a week. So lunchtime next week, everybody can watch it, but for now, our wonderful subscribing Patreons and members can get it for it. Not that it's anything special, but there's a lovely clip of Mike Metley in there where he He says hello in his own inimitable way. Unfortunately, Lisa wasn't playing when I went past when I was filming, so I couldn't get a bit of Lisa. And there's a giant knob that isn't me. There is another giant.
What, a willy? You mean a willy?
A giant
Proper
knob.
willy?
A giant knob.
Or a knob? Knob.
A giant knob.
Oh, okay.
That's all I'm going to say. Look
Yeah,
out
the
for the giant
Astrolab.
knob. Oh no, it's bigger than the Astrolab.
Oh,
Way bigger.
Oh, the Galaxy Lab.
It's a giant knob.
bigger than Jedward?
Big, so
Not that big.
Oh, okay.
So maybe it's the
That's it.
follow-up to the Mackie Big Knob, the Mackie Giant Knob.
This is, it's huge, and it was operational as well.
Oh, okay.
It's a
Imagine
fully operating knob. I'll give you a clue. It's in the Focusrite sequential Oberheim Novation room. That's where you need to be looking for the giant knob.
Okay.
Imagine the filter you can control with that.
So are you doing this like all night, or are you going to shut this down at tea time? Or are you going to
Well,
shut
I'll
down
have
start
to
up?
go and feed the dogs.
Yeah, I need feeding as well.
Yeah.
And it's
Well, you see, if I don't feed the dogs, all hell breaks out. I mean, big, and then Charlie starts singing. Noah starts barking, and then the girls have play fights. Yeah, lots of.
That reminds me, I need to find my box, because if I'm coming over to see you, I need
Oh,
protection.
You don't need a box.
From who? Apart from Nelly.
Apart from Nelly. Yeah,
Actually, yeah, Nelly's the only one you've got to be protected
Yeah,
for. But
Nelly gets a little
I always end up
excited.
going in the door sideways on, so she gets my hips first. Sort of takes the brunt of it. Bless.
they're all right, aren't they?
Yeah, she
Says
gets
the
a
man who
little-
was says the man who was not into dogs,
Yeah.
but they are. They're cool.
But I keep saying, we had a guy here yesterday with his Mintronics memory mug. And I said to him, I tell you what, it's lucky that arse is bolted on, it'd be flying around all over the place. Snap it off. She wags her ass so hard. So happy to see people, it's unreal.
Oh, what have I done there?
Oh, you broke it.
Oh, bloody hell, Wagyu. Behave yourself.
What's he? He's still on the naughty step, you know.
Yeah, he's going to stay there.
Yeah.
He he's just commented on the Patreon video. So I said at the end of it, point out people you know and be sure to leave your comments below. Right? So he's taken that just a little too literally. Very good.
Yes. Boom.
I might have to moderate that.
Why? Oh, oh.
There we go.
It's good fun, that little FM thing on this. Oh, gosh.
I hope Ranzee's better next week.
Oh, I'm sure.
Well,
I hope
yeah.
Ranzee's better as soon as possible.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks, Neil. You sent me the link to that video.
Looks like Jamie's coming out of the woods as well now, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's good to see, actually.
Yeah.
I wonder if he'll start. Sorry, go on. I was just going to say about Jamie. I wonder whether he was going to start doing his show, but is he going to start doing the EMOMs again? But that's a lot of work for him.
Yeah.
Man with Beard. Yeah. The montage is down in the church, unless probably more in the summer. I'll be bringing it up here a little more so that I can either program it, or if I feel inspired to write something on it, it'll come up here probably. But yeah, for the most part, it stays downstairs. And if I need to get an upper body workout, hauling it up 2 flights of stairs.
Yeah, so it looks like the ProSynth network lights are going to be surface mount.
Nice.
Yeah, because Rapid sent the microcontrollers and they're surface mount ones.
Okay.
Even though I ordered True Hole. Oh well, never mind. Ho hum.
Yeah.
Do it. I'll teach you. I'm going to mess with the timing of that. I want to make that longer.
Yeah, Rudess needs one of those.
You all right, baby girl? Sissy,
Yes, thanks, darling.
Sissy. Come on, say hi. Say hello to me.
Yeah. Can you have different parameters on each step of the FM drum? No. So one thing the drum brute impact doesn't record is motion.
Yeah.
So you just
Oh.
you have to do it live. So if you have the drum like going,
Here he goes.
yeah, you get the idea.
He started singing.
I mean, I suppose the easiest way to do that would be to sample, each hit at like a different note.
Yeah.
But that would be a pain.
It would. You can also do that coloration on it as well. Make it more. It actually puts a pitch envelope on it.
Boom.
1950s sci-fi. Pew pew.
1970s electronic disco drums.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to. What was it called? It was a JHS drum synth thing, wasn't it? Remember that?
Yeah. Yeah.
The Syndrome.
Syndrome, yeah. The John Hobbesque Syndrome. I remember playing in a band with, and the drummer going, doo doo, doo doo.
They had the Syn Air.
Yeah.
That was pre-Simmons, I think.
It's very 808 reminiscent.
Yeah.
Well, the whole kick and snare of this is quite.
That's almost halfway between 808 and 909.
He's sorting out his cutlery drawer now.
And then with distortion.
Or turn it up.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no.
Yeah, just turn it up. Yeah.
You turn it up. Then put the distortion on.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds more realistic.
Real.
I like that. That old polyrhythm thing's quite fun.
Yes, very nice indeed.
I don't think these knobs. Kosh was just saying that he had to clean his DBI's knobs because they suffer from the sticky syndrome. But these are like they're not the same. They're actually like smooth, hard plastic. So it looks like they've changed.
Yeah, it's a service we've had to
Yeah.
start providing. Where Fiona's mixed up this chemical that you just take all the knobs off, throw them in the sonic cleaner, and about a quarter of an hour later you take them out, it's taken all the rubber off,
Yeah.
but left the knobs intact.
My propeller head balance unit, the whole thing was covered in this stuff, and the whole thing just went tacky. And
Yeah.
it's somewhere in the garage now, and it's just basically it's got a coat of like dust because it sat in my garage. It was the one I used to use it when I had the at the old place. I put the fairlights up, and I just needed an interface, so I just put that out there. And of course, it gets a bit dusty in the garage, and so it just kind of just developed this kind of coat of dust that's now embedded into the rubber because it's all tacky and stuff.
Yeah, Jane's got a radio that I've got to try and clean the rubber off.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's not like we've not known that this rubber stuff goes this way, and yet companies
Still use
were
it.
using it for ages. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it was at the time a lot cheaper than paint or powder coating, so it kind of made sense. You know, I don't. Then maybe they probably didn't know, but when they started getting the support tickets turning up, going, I threw my drum machine at the wall to it, and I can't get it off.
I think the first thing I ever had that had that problem was a Sigma 70 to 210 lens from my camera. And the whole thing was coated in this stuff.
Yeah.
It just progressively got stickier and stickier. It's horrible.
I think it was. I think it might have been. It was something Steinberg who did it.
Oh, gosh.
I did wonder whether I might have. Did I clean this with something a little bit too aggressive or something? You know, it felt like it had melted the coating. And it transpired. Nope, they're all doing it.
So, Kosh, if you did the alcohol bath thing with the balance, did you actually submerge the entire unit, or did you just? Because I could imagine, submersing a unit in alcohol.
Yeah.
It's not going to do it too much harm because as long as you let it evaporate and dry.
I rubbed alcohol with it on the knobs that I did. I did actually do it on a Panorama P1. I had a Panorama P1. It got really sticky.
I don't think Fiona's mixture has alcohol in it because she wouldn't
be
allow
drinking
that. Yeah, she wouldn't allow that.
Yeah. Rubbing alcohol. You can do it with some rubbing alcohol, I think.
All right.
That works. And obviously isopropyl alcohol works.
Oh, right. Okay. So you took the internals out. Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
But I managed to clean up the Panorama and then sold it. Luckily, you couldn't tell it was.
If you rub that coating off, all the silk screening, the nomenclature, that all comes off.
Yeah, it was on the Panorama. It was just on the knobs.
Okay.
So because the knobs were just black, it was fine. You know, but
That's
when
something- I mean,
you touched it, it was hot. You know, what it's
Yeah,
like.
yeah.
It's just horrible, isn't it? You know?
yeah.
And the dust magnet, and I it took a while. I mean, I was rubbing each of the knobs individually, like you do. Boom,
Indeed.
It's not so bad if you rub dust into it.
yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
Actually, it becomes less tacky if
Yeah.
it's got
Yeah.
covered in dust.
Which is easy to do because the dust loves to stick to it.
Mm.
Isn't it?
But interestingly, the actual buttons on the P1, it was the sliders where the problem was. The buttons seemed to be fine.
Silly
If I remember
manufacturing decisions that companies
Yeah.
make. That and red glue.
Red, yeah, exactly, red for their. But I tell you what, that's put me off buying anything from Nectar in the
Yeah.
future because of that. You know,
It's weird, isn't it, that it waited nearly 30 years, 25 years to do it.
Mm.
Perfectly all right. And then suddenly,
But, you
it's
know,
a thing.
it clearly wasn't going to be they never thought, I guess, that what happens in 25 years when people are still using this, and will the components we use degrade in any way? Why would they think that? You know?
yeah, true.
But now
Well, the
they
one
will,
thing-
you would hope.
See, I find now that I find a lot of things that are done with lead-free solder, dry jointing, really easy. So you've got a lot of that to come.
Yeah, I've still got some leaded solder.
You can
Got
still
a roll,
buy it.
roll of it. I'm saying I've got a roll of it somewhere in the garage.
Yeah.
And in the moment I'm in our garage, you can just about get a motorcycle in and a push bike, and then it's box city.
Yeah. No, I've got loads of rolls of it. Well, you have to have it because
Yeah.
you can't use.
You can't use that.
Can't
stuff,
use
yeah.
unleaded on a vintage
No.
synth. It goes,
No,
what the fuck are
absolutely
you
not.
doing?
Yeah.
It's fine the other way round though.
Mm.
But I'd like, I still don't know how it did it. One of my sustain pedal on the montage just stopped working. So I checked the settings. No, it's all working. Cool, okay. Took the pedal apart, and one of the wires had just come away.
Mm.
The solder's still on the contact. The wire's still intact. It's not broken. It's just gone, no, fuck it, and left. So I've used some leaded solder on it. That's some of that. Mind you, it took me ages to find the spring when I opened it. It went pling, halfway across the room. What time is it? Right, we're going to have to knock this on the head. I've got to
Okay,
go
matey.
feed doggy wogs.
Okay, time for my tea.
Me too.
I wonder what delicacy Fiona's going to make us tonight. And if it involves vegetables, there's going to be words.
Are you coming back later?
Pass.
Pass. Oh,
Yeah.
fine.
I must admit, as it stands at the moment, I could quite happily go to bed now.
Yeah.
I feel absolutely exhausted. It's been such a week. Oi, oi.
Well, I'll do my paperwork later on then. Thanks to you guys. I've avoided for what, 2 hours?
I did all my expenses from
4
last
hours.
week in Berlin. God, I love technology. I paid for everything on my company account card, which is linked to my accounting software. So when I went in this morning, there's just a list of all my transactions, and I just
You're using QuickBooks, aren't you?
yeah.
I have a
Just drop
cheaper
my
version
receipts in,
that doesn't do that.
and then just went add, and then the balance would just go bing. Yep, it matches. That's it. Job done. Took me 20 minutes. It was brilliant.
Hey!
I quite like doing it. I quite like to. I mean, normally I do it on a monthly basis, but I haven't done it for 3 months because of where we've been living and everything.
Yeah.
So I've just done January.
I think it takes Fiona
Half
about an hour, 2 hours to do the books and
Yeah.
then submit them to the accountant, and it always seems to go by quite smoothly.
The good thing for me, I mean, and I used to do my VAT return by hand back in the day, and I haven't done for quite a while. But doing my books like this, I literally my VAT return takes 5 minutes. You know, which is
This
great.
book takes me about 20 minutes.
Yeah, yeah.
Mind you, I wish I could say the same for Fusion 360. Ugh. Fucking hell. Took me 20 minutes just to find the PCB software in it. Oh, that's something I've got to do tomorrow. God.
Yeah.
Oh, we've got to do the CNC coding, the G code for the PSN thing tonight.
All right.
That should be a giggle. Is it time, Siri? Is it dinner time?
Dinner time.
Ding dings. Oh, yeah. Okay. Right then, gentlemen.
All right. Love you and leave
See
you.
you later.
I will
See
see
you
you
later.
on laters.
Yeah. Be good, boys.
Take
And
care,
girls.
everyone.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye.
Wait.
Yeah.